It was sleek, elegant, and faster than any commercial airliner the world had ever seen, a true icon of engineering and ambition. The Concorde wasn't just a plane, it was the embodiment of progress, a symbol of humanity's desire to push beyond limits. But more than 50 years after its first flight and over 2 decades since its retirement, the Concorde remains a paradox. Beloved by those who flew it, admired by aviation enthusiasts even today, and yet a commercial failure. This is the story of Concorde, the supersonic plane that succeeded in capturing imaginations but fell victim to its own innovation. Let's uncover its legacy, its triumphs, and the reasons why an aircraft so ahead of its time may have simply come too early. The story of Concorde begins in the 1960s, a decade defined by boundless optimism about the future. Space exploration was in full swing. The jet age had revolutionized air travel in the 50s, and nations were competing to push their technological boundaries further. Supersonic flight was the next frontier. In 1962, Britain and France joined forces to do what no other nation had yet achieved, to create a supersonic passenger jet capable of traveling at over twice the speed of sound, Mach 2. This unprecedented collaboration brought together British Aircraft Corporation and Aerospatiale, and from this partnership, Concorde was born. But why was this idea so revolutionary? At Mach 2, Concorde could cross the Atlantic from New York to London in just over 3 hours. A journey that took conventional aircraft nearly 7 hours to complete. This wasn't just faster travel, it was the promise of redefining global connectivity. The plane's design was as futuristic as its ambitions. Its slender, delta-shaped wings were an engineering marvel, designed for supersonic speed. Concorde's pointed nose, renowned for tilting downward during takeoff and landing, wasn't just stylish, it solved practical visibility problems during taxiing. For aviation enthusiasts, seeing Concorde on tarmacs was like watching a spaceship dock on Earth. Concorde's maiden flight took off in 1969, a stunning success for the engineers and governments involved. By the mid-1970s, Concorde was ready for commercial service. British Airways and Air France became the sole operators of the Concorde fleet, with its first flights ushering in what many believed would be the golden age of supersonic travel. Passengers aboard Concorde didn't just fly, they experienced luxury like never before. Wide leather seats, gourmet meals, vintage champagne, and the exclusivity of sharing the cabin with no more than 100 fellow travelers. Celebrities, business tycoons, even royalty were frequent occupants of Concorde's plush interiors. This exclusivity extended outside the cabin. Spotting a Concorde in the skies was a mark of prestige. Flying at 60,000 feet, far above commercial jetliners, passengers could even see the curvature of Earth out the window. At its core, Concorde was never just about speed, it was about status, turning a 3-hour flight into a cultural event. For those lucky enough to fly Concorde, the dream of supersonic travel felt like the new normal. And yet, beneath this euphoria lay cracks in the vision, because for all its triumphs, Concorde was facing some serious turbulence, and not just in the air. Building and operating a plane as advanced as Concorde came at a cost, literally. The project was an engineering masterpiece, but also a financial sinkhole. By the time it entered commercial service, the development costs had ballooned to more than $1.3 billion. But it wasn't just about the money. Concorde faced other challenges that would shape its legacy as much as its speed. For one, it wasn't particularly practical. The plane consumed an obscene amount of fuel, making each flight a high-cost endeavor and limiting the customer base to only the wealthiest travelers who could afford a ticket. The sonic boom generated by Concorde's supersonic speed also sparked controversy. When the plane flew over land, its powerful sonic boom startled communities and even caused minor structural damage in some cases. This led to widespread bans on supersonic flights over most land masses. As a result, Concorde's routes were limited primarily to transatlantic flights, restricting its appeal to the world's wealthiest hubs like New York, London and Paris. Simply put, Concorde succeeded in going fast, but it didn't go far enough. Then there was the oil crisis of the 1970s. With skyrocketing fuel prices, the already expensive operational costs of Concorde spiraled even higher. While subsonic planes like the Boeing 747 offered efficiency and capacity, Concorde's economics fell deeper into question. Despite its challenges, Concorde maintained a small, loyal base of enthusiasts well into the late 1990s. But on July 25, 2000, disaster struck. Air France Flight 4590, a Concorde en route to New York, caught fire shortly after takeoff from Paris, ultimately crashing and killing all on board. The crash was traced back to a metal strip left on the runway by another aircraft, which punctured Concorde's tyre and sent debris flying into its wing-mounted fuel tank, leading to catastrophic failure. This accident marked a pivotal moment in Concorde's story. Public confidence in supersonic travel plummeted. Though Concorde returned to service after safety upgrades, the disastrous combination of high operating costs, a shrinking customer base, and the post-9/11 downturn in air travel spelled the end. In 2003, both Air France and British Airways announced Concorde's retirement. Its final commercial flight took place on October 24, 2003. The world said goodbye to one of the most unique aircraft in aviation history. The Concorde era was over, marking the end of a dazzling chapter in aviation that had redefined air travel for the elite. For over 3 decades, this remarkable aircraft captured the imagination of millions, soaring gracefully at twice the speed of sound and providing an unparalleled level of luxury and speed. The silence that followed was palpable, an acknowledgement of what had been lost, the promise of innovation, the thrill of breaking barriers, and the unique experience of flying aboard an aircraft that felt more like a piece of art than mere transportation. But Concorde's story doesn't end in 2003. Its legacy is alive in ways most never see. For one, it demonstrated the possibilities of supersonic travel. While it never became commercially viable, Concorde proved it was achievable, an aspiration for engineers and architects of the skies still chasing that dream. The lessons learned from Concorde have inspired an entire generation of aerospace innovators. Companies like Boom Supersonic are developing new prototypes, seeking to bring back supersonic flight in a more efficient and sustainable way. Thanks to advances in materials and noise reduction technologies, the dream of crossing the Atlantic in under 3 hours may not be gone, it just needs more time. Beyond innovation, Concorde's legacy lives in our collective imaginations. It remains a cultural icon, a plane that turned aviation into art. Today, Concorde jets are preserved in museums around the world, drawing visitors eager to marvel at a time when human ambition dared to break the sound barrier. Concorde was more than a plane. It was a dream realized, albeit briefly. While it came too early to fulfill its ultimate destiny, Concorde reminds us of humanity's boundless ambition to move faster, aim higher, and soar farther. So, the next time you look to the skies, think of Concorde, not just as a marvel of technology, but as a symbol of what's possible when humanity dares to dream. Though it left the skies too soon, its inspiration still fuels the imagination of dreamers and engineers alike. Who knows? One day, supersonic travel might once again become an essential part of our world, and this time it could stick around. To explore Concorde's full history, check out Jonathan Glance's incredible book via the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts on Concorde's legacy in the comments below. What would you give to experience the magic of supersonic travel once more?